der Mummescheres gute Sachen, von die aller honigdicke, mandeldicke und zimringdicke gepräglich sind, hat sich mit einmal zerkitzelt. Das Maul ist ihm voll geworden mit Wasser und die aufgezitterte Nusslöcher haben genommen ziehen die nahe Reiches von Erd und Garten. So, Moshe's palate, which is satiated with the Mummescheres good things from all the honey-like, almond-like, and cinnamon-like confectionaries, suddenly was titillated, and his mouth became full of, his mouth was watering. And the trembling nostrils began to be drawn to the new smells of the earth and the garden. Der bittere Geruch von zertrottenem Pollen beim Sommerplanken hat ihm im Ganzen verschickert. The bitter smell of the trampled wormwood right at the edge of the fence intoxicated him completely. Sein Meure ist weg und unweisendig auf die nicht zeitige Obst in der Heuch hat sein tiefer Hispales ausgedrückt, nur mit ein silbigen, gezeugenem und süßen Ausgeschrei. So his fear disappeared, and pointing at the unripe fruit high up above, he expressed his deep amazement with one syllable spread out sweet shouting it out. Oi, 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 oi. No need to translate that. Niska, genieter, Barrelichtreisler, hat mit a strenge Minne zugelegt a finger zum Mäuel. So Niska, this very experienced pear thief, pear shaker, with a very stern expression on his face, lifted his finger to his mouth. Shah, says dem Milner's sword. Quiet. This is the orchard that belongs to the miller. The Milners? Fragt Iber Meisheker. So it's the millers? Moshe asked the question again, or re-asked the question. Erst gabt sich, als der Milner is ihm ein bisschen bekannt. He only now realized that the miller was familiar to him. In Zikoren steht auf ein Bild, wie die Mumme Schere wascht ihm weitig Egel. So in his mind, there stood up, there arose an image that the Mumme Schere was washing his painful eye. So wascht über a weitendicke Egel, über der Grenze unter Zavas Mill. So she was washing his eye over the spring under Zavas Mill. Und Zavas ben Yochid steht auf dem Brickel in der Heich und hallumet sich über ihm und über der Mummen. And Zava's son, his only son, was standing on the bridge, high up, making fun of him and die Mumme. Wem hat dorten die eigentlich gewaschen? Who's washing over there the eyes? Whose eyes is she washing? Der Mamser Iron, your Mamser. Ha ha ha, laughing. Moisheken gitatziter a lip. So Moisheke's lip trembled. Macht a trot auf zurück, and he took a step backwards. Nor Niske chapt him on van Arbel, but Niske grabbed his sleeve. Hab nicht kein Meira. Zava is itzter in Bishmedras. So don't be afraid. Zava's in the Bishmedras, in the study house right now. Und der stammelt Moisheke, der Sohn seiner. And what about his son? Mistome nicht in der Heim. It's probably not at home. Schleppt sich herum mit Netterkes. He is running around with dressmakers. Mistome und Tome nicht. Probably or perhaps. And what happens if he's not running around? Nor Niske is in als behavend. Niske is very skilled, proficient. He knows everything. Nicht nur weist mit wem Zavas ben Yochid schleppt sich itzter herum, kennt alle Schwachkeiten von seinem ingeren Chavero. Not only does he know with whom Zava's only son is running around with at the moment, but he also knows the weaknesses of his young friend. Lost him rega nit trachten, and he doesn't allow him even to think for a minute. Guck, macht Stillerheit und steckt da rein die spitzen Finger in Spalt zwischen die Berwenkes von Planken. Look, he says, quietly, and he sticks the points of his fingers in the gaps between the bars of the fence. Die Schichtspitzen befestigt ein bisschen niedriger. And the points of his shoes, he pushes in a little lower down. Also drappet sich still und flink wie ein Kotter. And in this way, he clambers quietly and agilely like a cat, like a tomcat. Soppet nur ein bisschen unter mit der Nose. He pants a little bit, breathing heavily through his nose. Zerwarnt von einem so schönen Beispiel tut Moisheke noch. So warmed by this very nice example, Moisheke follows him, he imitates him, he does what Niske is doing. Das Herz klappt noch ein bisschen, aber bald geht das Rechtel Schreck über in a min chwastker Aufregung, in a Wettgeläuf. So his heart was still pounding a little, but only a little bit of fear over the kind of gallant excitement that one feels in a race competition. Niska kletter und a soppa, a kletter und a soppa. Niska climbed and panted, and he climbed and panted after him. Bei einer so schwachen Anhalt wie die pechige Spältlich zwischen die Berwenkes ist gar schwer zu halten Gleichgewicht von Guff. So, with this very difficult, weak foothold on the fence, on this pitch-covered fence, and the gaps between the bars, it's quite difficult to maintain the balance of the body. Es zit moiridig zu der Erde. There's a very strong, one is almost drawn towards the earth. Nur der besondere Keuch von Neugierigkeit und der besondere Geschick zu essen fremde und verbotene säure Frucht ist stärker von als in der Welt. But this special power of curiosity and the particular desire to eat fremde, that someone else's fruit and someone else's and forbidden sour fruit was stronger than anything else in the world. Die Blättergruppe mit Girliandes von kollierte Peiruslach hängen schön über den Kopf. So the leaf covering with garlands of colored little fruits was hanging over his head. Die javerdicke Zweckes auf der obersten Latte von Planken nor zij schrikken een bissel op. So there were rusty nails on the top part of the fence, and these were quite scary, these nails. Aber Niske, der habt dem Schreck in Moishekes Augen und verglet ihm. Niske notices the fear in Moishke's eyes, and he calms him. Guck nicht in, guck git shept. So look, he says, he whispered to him. Okay, shall I?
Okay. Look at the way the fence is like, there's a sort of a primitive barbed wire, and how clever. This is the second time that somebody has been very clever about the character of Moisheke with the machshefa of the Zigeuners. You know, she saw when he became a little bit afraid, and she immediately sort of jumped in and pushed him forward. And the same thing here with Niska. He pushes, he senses Moisheke's slight fear and wariness, and he pushes him on.
Yeah, Nechama, now we will read. You are so right, because you are so right, because now as the description goes on, they describe the Ben Yochid, the Moshe, the Ben Yochid of the Miller, maybe Hintiket saying it's reminiscent of the gypsies. The gypsies had a big teeth, and when they smiled, their teeth looked like the teeth of the dogs. Right. And here too, he says, Shneur says, the doggish teeth that he had, you see, and there's like the description of that Tachshit boy reminds me of the gypsies. That meanness, cruelty.
The cruelty.
Yeah, and yeah, you picked it up even before the teeth came.
No, I read the teeth, but you, I hadn't actually. I give you the credit. I hadn't done the relationship with the teeth, but you're right. That is, Shneur mentions that a few times. All right, okay, let's go forward.
Okay.
Nicht willendig macht noch mit sein Schäppchen dem Schorch von die Blätter. Not willingly, he goes afterwards. He follows with the whisper, with the rustle of the leaves. Hart nimmt dabei der Finger von der linken Hand, krimmt sie aus wie Krokes und habt mit sie herum dem untersten Sitz von 2, 3 Schweckes auf einmal, nicht unrührendig sehr verjavelter Spitzen. So this is what, now who is doing this here? This is Niska who is doing it.
It's Moisheke.
It's Moisheke is doing it. It's Moisheke who's doing this way. So not willingly, the whisper, and what he does is he makes the fingers from his left hand, and he curls them like a hook, and grabs them around the 3 or 4 of the shvekas of the what are the nails?
Nails, the nails.
And one time, not in order not to touch their rusty tips. So this is how he holds himself. Azoi wählt bei ihm a guter Mittel, auszuhalten sich von der Gefahr. So in this way, he has a good method to hold himself from the danger, gestochen zu werden. Not to be, the danger is to get stuck by these rusty nails. Atzin verbreit Niske der rechte Hand. See, that's why I thought it was Niska. It's Niska who's doing this. Atzin befreit Niske der rechte Hand und flickt die nitseitige, glosige Flammlech und die Porzellaner Säure Äppelach. A flick und a ruck und Keschene. A flick und a ruck. I think the person who did this very graceful climb was Niska, and Moisheka is watching him. So he has a way of holding himself from the danger of the rusty nails. And then Niska frees the right hand and he starts grabbing the not ripe, like glassy, shiny plums and the porcelain sour apples. A flick und a hook. A flick und a hook. A grab and a pull, and he puts it in his keshena, in his pocket. So this is this little graceful motion that he has in order to grab the fruit.
Okay.
Moisheke,
Nechama, I think
yes,
in the first line of this paragraph,
yes,
it's about Moisheka, this, and then thereafter it's probably about Niska, because nit willendig macht noch. Against,
exactly.
Against his will,
well,
he follows him.
Yeah, so there's a switch in there.
There's
right.
a switch,
Right. Yeah, okay. So he watches his what is the word? Banaitikil, the experienced thief, Niska. Okay. Moishike tut ihm noch wie a far geschufter. Moishike like the Kishufmacher,
like bewitched, like he's bewitched.
Bewitched. Zerfingert euch die linke Hand und habt sich on. He also zerfingert. He twists his right hand. I don't know.
Clutches.
Clutches with the right hand, with the left hand, and holds himself up. Die Schweckels schneiden unberachmonistic in the finger knecklech. The nails cut him mercilessly in the finger knuckles. Nur Moisheke hält sich zum Beitig nicht zu. But Moisheke doesn't pay any attention to this pain. Ein geklemmt mit der spitzen Schicht in the Spalt hängt auf den linken Arm und flinkt mit der rechten Händel. So this is very hard for me to picture. But what he does, he doesn't listen to the pain, and he pushes himself. He like balances himself. He stuffs himself with the tips of his shoes in the spalt, just like in Korach, in the holes, in the, what's the word, spalt, in the crevices, in the gaps. And he hangs with the left hand and flinkt mit dem Rück and flicked mit der rechten Händel. And he pulls with the right hand. So he's balancing himself on the tips of his shoes in the gaps of these of the planks. Gedei es soll ihm nicht schwindeln in a Zahaich, in order that he shouldn't become dizzy in this height. Behalt dem zerflammten Punim in die Kiele glanzige Blätter von Äpfel und Pflaumenbäume. So in order to not become dizzy from the height, he holds his inflamed face in the cool, shiny leaves of the apples and the plum trees. Und die Hand arbeitet wie bei a Blinden. And the hands are, because he's holding his face away in order to not feel the height and not get dizzy. So he's working like he's a blind person. A tap und a flick und a ruck in the Meitgelech. A tap and a flick, is that a pick? And a throw into his underpants, is that Meitgelech?
Meitgelech, and it could be pants too, no?
It could be pants. I don't know. Meitgelech always sounded to me like Meitge's like underpants.
Yeah, the dictionary said underpants.
Underpants, yeah. I remember that from childhood. Aber inmitten drinnen brummt Häuf a Beisel junger Kohl von der tief golden Häus. But in the middle of this, booms out, roars out a mean, angry, young voice from deep in the garden. Hi, wer is das dorten? Hey, who is there? Niska geht Stillerheit a knack mit der Zunge. That's his great trick. Niska gives quietly a knack, a turn, a twist, a crack. That's right, a crack with his tongue. A sinnen als men is in sakona und men muss optreten. This is a symbol, this is a sign that there's danger here and that we have to back off. Kunzig glitscht sich bei ihm heraus die linke Hand von zwischen die Schweckes und rückt sich rein in an untersten Spalt. So very artfully, kunzig, artfully, with grace, or he takes out his left hand from between the schweckes, between
the nails.
The nails,
yeah.
and pushes himself between in the cracks. I don't know what the word untersten, I could not find that. An untersten Spalt.
The lower.
Lower.
A lower, untersten, a lower.
Unter, yeah. You know, unter is under. Yeah, in the unter is the lower.
This is the second, I learned hinter and now unter. In a regele arum, kriegt schon a planken. In a second, he's already creeping under the fence. Nicht so glatt läuft das up by Moishekin. Not so easily does it go for Moishekin. Wollen dich noch machen demselben Kunst. He wants to do the same trick. Stecht sich ab, fort rauf mit dem linken Arm und verhabt sich mit dem Arbel an die Schweckes, wie a zerplittert Fischl mit
Zappeldick.
die, ja, say again,
Zappeldick.
Zappeldick. A Zappeldick Fischl mit die Javaris in die zu enge Loch und Netz. Poor kid. So he tries to do what he saw Niska did, but what happens is noch der selbe Kunst, but with the left hand, he caught in his sleeve on the nails like a fish, a suppeldick. What is a suppeldick?
A wriggly.
Fidgeting.
Say again.
I found fidgeting. Fidgeting,
Like
yeah.
A fidgeting fish. Fidgeting with the gills in the two small holes of the net. So he's caught there. Der Fischler brechen sich ihm unter. His feet are breaking under him. Und bleibt kiemert hängen in der Luft. And he actually ends up almost hanging in the air. Über a Tahum von Krovier unter den heuchen Planken. So he's left hanging over a whole abyss of nettles, nasty nettles, which are under the high fence. Ort reißt sich in ganzen ab und fällt kopperab. So he pulls himself away, but he falls head down mit die Absassen zu die Blätterkronen, with the soles of his shoes to the leaf crowns. So he's now, we need to have a picture of him. He's isn't he upside down now with with his feet up in the air? A moire dicke Geschrei keikelt sich ihm zu von abgestorbenem Herzen zum Hals. A fearful cry is rolling out of him from his abgestorben, his frightened heart.
I think it's dying. The abgestorbenem, isn't it dying?
Dying?
That's a terrified.
Terrified, that's the word. Terrified
okay.
Heart.
Okay.
Terrified heart to his throat. Nur sticht ihm mit zusammenbeißen die Zähne und sucht mit verzitterte Hand und Fies bequemeren anhalten. But what he does is he stops it. He stops it with with biting his teeth with what's the expression for
Gritting.
that?
Gritting his teeth.
Gritting, exactly. Gritting his teeth. This poor kid gritting his teeth, and he seeks with his shaking hands and feet a more comfortable spot or position on how. Is obel voll Tumult und Schreck und blind von dem gedichten Blätterschleier. But he is totally confused by fear and blind from the thick leaf veil. I mean, this is such a leafy green area. Und da steht noch Niske mit seiner umgelumperte Keulis. And here's Niska with his totally absurd voices. Jener is showing ganz weit von Planken. The other one is already safely quite far from the gate. He's gotten away. Is bei sich sicher und Jale wird nicht dem Haus. So he's quite confident in himself because he's run away very nicely. And he doesn't stingy his voice. Moshike, spring up. Moshike, spring up. Moshike, jump down. Moshike, jump down. Brennen meg mit seine gute Eitzes. He should, this is Moshike thinking, he should burn, he should rot with his good advice now. Geh spring mit dem Kopf auf zurück und los noch dazu über a halben Arbel auf die Schwäches. Yeah, you try and spring when your head is down and you're gonna leave half of your sleeve on the nails. That's the miserable position that he's in. Okay, terrible, absolutely terrible. This child is cursed. Now you can read the horrible section with this.
No, yours was the horrible section, and you.
I think the following section is worse. It's much worse.
All of these figures, and it gold leaves on top of the half sleeve.
Yeah.
On the nails, you go and
you go
jump.
And do it, Niska. Yeah, Niska,
you go do what I did. Yeah, and leave half of your sleeve on the nails. Yeah, the poor boy. Oh, he's very okay. You say this is the worst section, so you left
I
it
think
to
the
me?
coming section is the worst section. Well, because you have led us so through the book, and this is really this is the full realization of the contempt and the heartlessness right ahead. So please.
Okay, let me try.
No.
Ja, in der dossigen Minute von Verblendenisch und Zaplenisch und Verzweilung und a viele Moscheke nicht der Herz, wie man stellt zu a Leiterl, auf jenem sei Planken. In that moment of being lost and fidgeting, and I don't know what Verzweilung is. Maybe someone knows.
Is despair.
Oh, despair. Okay, thank you.
Verzweifelt. Wow, it's that strong.
I always. Despair. I didn't look it up.
Yeah. I always heard that. I always associated with sort of, but again in a very non-meduyak way, with the feeling of confusion. But it's really despair. Despair.
Okay, so in this terrible moment, okay, naja, Ota viele Moscheke nicht daher, wie man stellt zu, a later, auf jenem Seite Planke. Moscheke did not even hear how they're putting up a ladder on the other side of the fence. There was no aufgerissen vor Augen und a Geschrei wenn zwischen die Gedichte Girlandes mit zeitigen Eufs ist Reus gewachsen, a zugekämmter Kopf, was Glanz von Pomade und a chutzpediger gesunder Pony mit dunkle Backenbolden. So he opened up his eyes and screamed when he saw that among the sick, I would say the sick garlands of non-ready fruits came out a head that is combed and is shining with grease, some kind of an ointment of grease on the hair, and a face, an arrogant face with dark a cheek. It's like a dark little beard on the cheek.
Like Elvis Presley, like sideburns. You remember Elvis Presley?
Do I? Of course, I sing him all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're a singer. You know.
Ja, Jetzt wurde schon einmal gesehen als ein Kopf, nur wo. Somewhere he already saw such a head. Only where? Mir hat ihm aber nicht gegeben Zeit zu der Monensicht. He wasn't given yet time to remember. A junge starke Lappe ist rausgesprungen von einer weißen Manschette. A strong young hand came out of a white cuff. Ungehabt ihn bei seinen Darmplätzen, caught him at his thin shoulder and shook him on him a trestle getan via lulav and shook him like a lulav. A lulav is what you use. It's a palm branch with closed leaves that you use on sukkahs. To make a brocha on the four. Anyway, this is a part of a plan. Oh, okay. Mit gucken Blick auf den tiefen Schreck ist Moishe kemach wie gewinn dankbar der brutale Hand, was hat ihn im richtigen Moment geraten wird von der Gefahr aufzureißen, sich von rechts Armbruch und herabfallen mit dem Kopf auf zurück in Kroppe wie rein. No, ignoring the terrible fear, Moshe almost was thankful for this brutal hand that caught him, that caught him at the right moment and saved him from the danger of getting himself out, cutting himself off the rest of the sleeve and falling with his head back into the nettle. Wer Mensch bist du? Whose are you? Atzim bewohnt sich Mosheke now, Mosheke remembers. Durchkennt sein alten Säune. He recognizes his old enemy. Der Call, and it's really his half brother. they're called the Bakenboden, the verzierte weiße Zähne. Here are the same.
There it is.
Yeah. Nah, this is the voice, the beard on the cheeks, the round white teeth. Is euch a Moisheke. This too is a Moisheke. Zave, the millionaire's Benok. Zave, the millionaire's son. Welke was the
Benok.
Benok, this is a way, yeah, this is, that means son Benok is like, I think it's like a put down, it's like, instead of saying Tachshik, Benok, it's like, you know, not a nice way to say son. You know? Welche Rose Chamol Gehalomet Iberim, who at one time made fun of him on Iber der Mumestion and of made fun of him and of the Angstschere, Ariber schreien wegen dem Geräusch von der Rebellie. And with that, when he was making fun, he overcame the sound of the den by making fun. His voice was stronger than the sound of the den. In Herzen hat sich euch heim geschrocken vor ihm. In his heart, again, he became scared of him. Nicht gewollt drappen sich auf den Milners Planken. He did not want to climb on the fence of the Milner. Und here, mit sich geschrocken sich. Yeah, he didn't want to do it all together. And now, and there was a reason. He did not get scared for nothing, for no reason.
Right.
Der Beiser Cholem is mekuyem geworden. That bad dream came true. Anu shiret Zaves Banok die große Zehn. Du redest finit. He grinds his Zaves son. Grinds his teeth. Are you talking or not? Kives, stammelt Moisheke und war frei derweile Pavolinke dem zerrissenen Armut von die Zweckes. Kive, I belong to Kive. Moisheke stutters. And meanwhile, he frees up slowly the torn sleeve from the nails. Die zerkratzte Heu von Ohren tut ihm weh, und Moisheke dacht sich, als nicht die Heu, nur der Gewaltriss von Arbel tut weh. Als der zerrissene Schabesdicker Garniter Gufe schmerzt und brennt wie Feuer. And the itchy skin of his arm hurts him, and it seems to him, to Moisheke, that it's not the skin, but the ripping of the sleeve hurts, that the Garniture
Is a suit.
Yeah.
suit?
A suit.
So like his outer garment, his
Outer garment. The Sabbath outer garment that is torn, that itself is hurting and burning like fire.
I didn't understand that.
I don't understand why this. Yeah, yeah.
Is it because he is upset about the clothes, the idea that the clothes have been hurt, or what?
No.
Why is it on fire?
No, his arm was scratched by the
Yeah.
nails. And it seems to him that it's not his arm that is painful, but it's the ripped Shabbos suit that he's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
That is burning on his arm.
Ah.
Maybe it was hurting so much that it's like not admitting to himself that it's hurting. The pain is elsewhere, not mine. I don't know. I don't know why this.
He's imagining that it's the sleeve of his suit that is in pain and not his actual scratched arm.
Yeah, but why does Schneur have to bring it like that? Why does it have to? Why does Schneur move the pain from the body to the suit?
Because his Shabbostika clothing that is destroyed. It's ripped, and
okay.
It's almost painful. That it's the suit that is in pain, not his arm, but it really is his arm that is in pain because he's been scratched by the nails.
Okay. Thank you. Hilves fragt über der Chutzpediker Kort zwischen Blätter. Den Leckachmacher. Oh, you belong to Kive? The arrogant head is asking from among the leaves. Oh, Kiva, the cake baker, und nicht warten dich auf ein Ängste. So hier sieht sich der Milner Tachschik, die Hand über Moschekes Plätze, verklemmt noch stärker und schreit darauf in Sodereien. Kinder, du hörst Kivers Mamser. And while he's not waiting for an answer, the Sehirjet, I saw, is it whining or screaming? It screams. I don't know. I'm not sure about this word.
I found it as almost like whinnies, like a horse, the sound that a horse makes.
Yeah, I see. Yankev, I found this interpretation as well, only I didn't know what winning is. I don't know English as much as you. And I did not I didn't look up the word winning in a dictionary. Now that would have been too much. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so the hand über Moshe's place, his hand is on top of Moshe's shoulder, and he
grips it.
He grabs it, yeah, he grabs it even stronger, and he screams into the orchard. Kinde, do you hear? This is Kiva's mamzer. Losen, betsach a mädelscher Call from Soda Royce. Leave him alone. A girl's voice is asking him, really begging him from within the orchard. Anese costumi di por barela. What business do you have What business do you have with this few pears? What do you care about these few pears? Der viel Moischike, als Zinn ist gekommen die richtige Zeit von der Wecken Rachmones. So Moischike feels that now came the right time for arousing pity, for asking for mercy. Die mädchen singende Stimme vernehmten, the girl's singing voice affects him. Sich on warfen wie a gefangen Fisch. So he starts he starts moving like a captured fish. Und zerklost sich hoch auf den Kohl, and he cries in a loud voice. Zed, lost mich, look, leave me alone. Zaves ben Yochi dort ober kein Rachmones nicht, but Zaves' only son does not have any mercy. Yeah, Moid.
Yeah, with the Russian. Now with the Russian.
Nah, that's for you.
Okay, so
no, I think that this is the best page now for you. This is very interesting.
yeah.
In spite of the Russian, yeah.
Pervim Dialom Zitter durch die Zehn. Das Hitler. So I don't know what Pervim Dialom means, but he curses him through his teeth. That cap. Und reißt Moischeken arop dem tief ungerückten Kaschkettel und warf arop in Soda rein. And he grabs Moisheke's cap, which is pulled down over his eyes, and he throws it down into the orchard.
Now, Moishika does that, or the
No. Zav's
son does.
Benok
Okay.
does that.
Yeah, the Benoch, yeah.
Moishike's gekreuzte und goldreute Haar springen heraus wie a Flamm und brennen rot zwischen die grünen Blätter wie a Warnung. Moishike's curly reddish gold hair it almost jumps out like a flame, burning red among the green leaves, like a warning. Nor de milners ben Yochid art dos nit, but the miller's only son, it doesn't bother the miller's only son. Aderabba, die rote Haar von Kives Mamser, der Mononym, wie der Tate hat ihm amol gesiedelt. In Mill verchippen sich mit Ot dem Schneck. The red hair of Kiva's mamzer remind him that his father once shouted at him, cursed him at the mill for bothering this very same rascal. Verkritzt die hintische Zähne noch stärker und macht so. So he grinds his dog-like teeth even more strongly. Yeah, and he says, Victoria Diala in Bak. So I don't know what the Russian means, but it's like a cheer, it seems to me. Und lost
like a what? Like a cheer.
A cheer. CHEER.
A cheer. Like a cheer in Bach. It's hard to tell with your accent, you know.
I apologize for my accent.
No, do not apologize.
No, don't.
We don't apologize for accents in this class, in this room, in this group. But in Bach, like a cheer, like
a
shout, maybe.
Yeah.
But since we
it's
don't,
it's not in Bach in the cheek. Like he's going to hit him in the cheek. Like he's going to give him a patching on him.
It could be, yes. And we see a patch coming up in the next sentence.
Yeah. And
I think, that's what he's doing. So he's saying in back and then he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Und lost Moisheken mit der freien Hand herab a patch. Als Funken zertanzen sich für seine verwähnte Eigelach. Und beide Euren werden ihm verklungen. Yeah, so, and he gives Moisheke with his free hand a clout so that sparks, stars, he sees stars from his teary eyes, and both his ears are ringing from this blow. Tretie dialo. Geiko vieset chertiam. Ich weiß nicht, was das meint. Und, und drittens, geht zu all the schwarze Jahr. And thirdly, go to hell. Spritzen dich also mit Ruschisch, wie a Harber schäufet beim Ausgeben a Psakdin, hebt im Sabes Benok auf a bissele hecher, wiegt ihm ein a regele Iberen te hom und lost ob die verklemmte Hand. Nicht kümmern sich a viele, sie Moisheke wird sich brennen, Hals und Nacken.
Brechen.
Ja, brechen, Hals und Nacken, sie nicht. So, throwing out these Russian phrases like a stern or a severe judge giving his, reading out the sentence, Zava's son moves up a little higher and sort of waves him for a moment over this abyss and lets go his tightly gripped hand, not bothering whether Moshe would fall and break his neck or not. Moshe is aber flink, but Moshe was flink.
That's quick.
Agile,
Agile,
yeah.
Agile, okay, yeah.
Die plötzliche Gefahr im Ganzen genießigt zu werden, verschärft seine Chushim. This sudden danger of being coming to harm sharpened his senses. In fliehen arop Planken dreht sich und fällt wie ein junger Kotter auf alle vier. So in the air, sort of flying in the air down from the fence, he turned himself as he was falling like a young cat, and he landed on all fours. Das schwacht op dem Klapp, and this it lightened the blow. Nor weitig in ein Knie fiel fort, und ein Back is ihm wie opgesmoljet von Kropova. But he feels a pain in his one knee, and on his cheek, his cheek is smeared with the pitch of the bars of the fence.
No, the from the nettle, from the crop.
Oh, the nettle, yes, that's right.
The nettle, you know, that's it stings this, it burns the skin. That's the problem with nettles, is that they burn the skin when they come in contact with the skin. So
right.
He's been burnt.
So it's interesting to me that the clawless, you know, the curses come out not in Yiddish but in Russian, which is like it's more cruel than if it were in Yiddish. This is like the Goyische Sprach, the Goyische language that he uses. It's like aggressive sin. It's a greater hatred, greater anger.
Yeah.
These curses in Russian. What do you think, people?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, he lets himself go completely with his terrible tongue and his terrible face and his pomaded hair.
Yeah, he doesn't say in Yiddish. If you said in Yiddish, gehen drin da rein, it wouldn't have been as bad as this. Is like a real an emes goy, an emes soine, a real, you know, a real enemy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, bleibt also stehen Rakom und klockt die der Niederrichter.
The Niederrichter.
Yeah.
Like the crushed. He's crushed.
Maybe humiliated.
Ja, gepatscht
Humiliated.
mit der Weit
Humiliated.
im Knie und mit der Smolje im Ponym. Also ohne Hitler auf dem Kopf. So he remains on all fours. And he was crying niederrichter.
Humiliated. I think that's a good way.
Humiliated. Yes,
Yeah,
humiliated.
Lowered. Lowered.
And a gepatschter, someone who's been given a clout with a sore knee and with a face that is smeared with pitch and without a hat on his head. Niske, sein Verführer, tritt zu ihm Pavolia zu, a Verschämter, a Schuldiger. So Nisker, the one who has led him astray, comes towards him slowly, embarrassed and guilty. Prüft ihm trösten. He tries to comfort him. Sein verunglückten Chavero von Zavulik. He tries to comfort him, this injured friend from the Zavulik. Aber
I thought like unlucky, his
yeah.
no, maybe unhappy, unlucky friend.
Unhappy.
Unhappy, yes.
Unhappy.
Yeah, but you know, in Yiddish, the verunglückten is so much stronger than any English word I think can describe.
Yeah.
But is it a question of Unglück, the unhappiness, Unglückten, without happiness? Oh, wow.
No, it's more like this friend of his who is always the victim.
Right.
I think that's the meaning of it. Yeah.
Bravo to Nishka that he sees this and
that he sees it. Yes.
Yeah.
Aber Moisheke springt auf und gibt ihm ein Brick mit bräusendicken Kas. But Moisheke jumps up and gives him a kick with real anger. Aweg, get away. Und setzt sich zurück unter den Planken und klockt. And he sits down again under the fence, next to the fence, and he wails. Is fest ungeschlossen, nicht abzutreten. Bis Entschlossen, ja, sorry.
Yeah.
Is fest entschlossen, nicht abzutreten, bis wird nicht bekommen zurück sein Kaschkettel. So he makes the decision that he's not going to move until he gets back his cap. Warum laufen aheim durch alle jüdische Gassen Shabbos mit entblößter roter Haar ist a Sach peinlicher wie laufen mit a Flammfeuer auf den Scharben. So, because to run home through the Jewish streets on Shabbos with his bare red hair, is much more painful than to run with this a fiery flame on his head, on his face.
This is skull. This is what I
His
found.
skull.
Charm.
Yeah,
Yes, a sharpen is a skull, but
Skull.
it's his face that his cheek that's covered in the nettles, and that's what's the painful
Oh, okay.
thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever. Neither one is good.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but the head, to have the red head, the hair, it revealed like this is much worse than to have the redness of the face, that he
Yeah.
would run with the redness of the face through the town.
yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay.
Ja. Ganz Stott wird doch erkennen, was mit ihm ist geschehen, und wird ihm aufheben Naura. So the whole town would recognize what's happened to him, and they would aufheben, they would lift up. I don't know what this Naura is.
Yeah, what is that?
I think they would make fun of him. That's the idea.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, that
point
makes sense.
fingers at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, humiliate him more,
Oh, yeah.
criticize him.
Mhm. Okay. Sitzt der Pfarr und jammert mit ungedrollenen Lippen. And so he remains sitting and wails with ungedrollene Lippen, with his crying lips. I don't know what, I couldn't find ungedrollene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't, but textually, I understood it as injured lips.
Injured, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Mein Hittel, oi, mein Hittel. So my cap. Oi, my cap.
Yeah. So maybe we stop right there. Oy,
Okay, yeah, okay.
it's just the time.
Okay.
Wow.